I'm Tim Panton from Voxeo Labs, and I'd like to thank Ericsson for giving us the opportunity to do a little HyperVoice talk. We're also members of the HyperVoice Consortium. So HyperVoice is kind of an interesting concept, and I think it's worth talking about first so you kind of get an idea of what the demo means and what it's about. And I encourage you to look at this website and take in some more information than I'm going to be able to get over in 10 minutes. There's a nice blog post there by Martin Geddes, who's one of the kind of leading thinkers in the voice space, who's been in the telephony world for a long time, but a lot of the time is being right on the futurist aspect of that. So in particular, HyperVoice is around the idea of taking the benefits of hypertext and applying them to voice. Now, you might ask yourself why you would do that. And if you think about how much more useful text has become now that it's searchable, now that it's indexable, now that it's recordable, now that it can be sent around, then if you start to apply those sorts of things to voice, which is after all our most rich and communicative medium, it's the way to convey a message, to assuage doubt, to convince people, to try and understand what a problem is. Voice is preeminent in doing that. So the idea with the HyperVoice Consortium is to take all of those advantages of voice and trying to win some of the advantages that the hypertext system has done for text. So that means things like integrating with stream activity so that it's actually part of your workflow. And that means that it has to be recordable, because we all work in different time zones and at different times. We're not all available simultaneously. So we need voice to be able to cope with that, and that means typically recording. It needs to be shareable, so we can send stuff around to each other and distribute stuff to other people. And as I said, we need to build it into our workflows. It needs to be part of our daily experience. And critically, and this is the thing that Google did for the web, and well, there were precursors, but preeminently Google did for the web, was to make it searchable, so you can find the thing you were looking for. And you simply can't do that with voice today. So the idea around the HyperVoice Consortium is to try and solve some of those problems and present some of those advantages into the voice world. So that's the context of this. Now I have a couple of, I have somewhere a couple of demos, which with any luck we'll be able to show you. So this is a demo that's, I'm going to explain it first because it talks and I can't talk over it. So it's a demo that's around a system called Verbal, which is very much experimental, and it, as you will see from the API when it comes up, it's a busy API. It's got all of the possible tools in it, and some of those we'll end up not needing, but we thought we'd put them all in and see how it plays out and see what turns out to be useful. So don't see this as a finished product. See it as an experimental place. And I should say that one of the joys of WebRTC is I can combine hypertext and hypervoice in the same interface, and I think that's very powerful. So what you see here is
hi Brian, hi Kapana.
Hi Phil, how are you?
Hi. Tim.
Hi Tim.
Oh, it's Tim, fantastic. I was just going to ask you, Phil, if you could remind Kalpana of her username and password for Scrumwise.
Tim, that's it?
Oh, yeah, no, I've come in as anonymous, which is unfortunate. There you go.
Oh, well, you can go out again. Well, you can just put in a setting for yourself in the UI settings, nickname, in UI settings, which is...
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. No, I can't. I have to be logged in to change the setting.
Oh, gosh, I was going to say enrollment. Sorry about that, I didn't do that.
Yes.
No, never mind. I'll be anonymous. That's fine. Provided there's only one of me, that's fine.
Yeah, it could be. You could explain it as being a guest to the normal group, I guess.
So what you heard there was the introductory chit-chat at the beginning of a Scrum call for a piece of software development that's actually around developing this particular piece of software. But what it's done is it's broken down each of the utterances and tagged them against the appropriate user. And I've jumped, as you see, I jumped into the middle of this. I didn't start at the very beginning of the call. And it's now also searchable. So I can say, when do we start talking about Firefox? And there we go. And I could jump to that point and start playing from there. So we now have an indexable conference call in effect. And I should say, actually, Firefox reminds me, that demo is in Firefox. What you're seeing is Firefox 22, and we have WebRTC using Phono. We're using Phono to enable this, and Phono now fully supports Firefox throughout into the telephony world. So just to kind of give you a feeling for what that might look like, there won't be anybody else in this conference call because the Englishmen involved in this are all asleep now. But so I'm not going to bother with that. And, oh no, hang on, I have to say okay to that. Come on. No, I'm not going to get the demo. Oh, hang on. Yes, okay. Start that again. So as I say, it's an experimental interface, so we'll see whether we can actually get it to work in this context. Probably not by this looks things. No, it's not going to work. I can tell that now. Okay, so having said that, I think this system, as I said, is experimental, but what it brings you is all of the advantages I talked about for HyperVoice. You know, it's searchable, it has an activity stream. These buttons here, for example, we can mark what kind of action this is. Is it an action? Is it a bug? Do we like something? It's a suggestion. We can tag whose action it is so that when I come back to a call, I can see where I agreed to do something. Whoa, that took a while. No, I give in. I think we've been got by the network there. So we'll quit that and come back in again. So, where was I? 2 minutes. So it manages your workflow and it's searchable. So I'd encourage you to go and have a look at the consortium and see whether it's something that you think is relevant to yourselves. I'll be out on the Voxeo Lab stand on number 87, so if you want to come and talk to me about it, I should be there. And as a final thing, I'm going to show you something which is not directly HyperVoice related, but it's kind of, I think it's relevant in that it's something that you can apply today. You can have, I imagine a lot of you out there have got IVRs sitting there, and you're thinking, how am I going to get my IVR to feel much more natural in a web environment? I mean, the first thing it's going to be doing is missing text. So what this demo does, assuming that the gods are with me, is it ties text into an IVR so that, or not. I've been totally got by the network. Yeah, never mind. So that's just not working. So we're not. Oh well, I'm stubborn on this. We'll try Chrome, but I doubt it's that. I think we've got a network backup. Now I'm going to say one more thing, which is that the principle of that is that you can embed the activity that you're expecting your user to pick, so you know the list of actions as text into an IVR, so that the IVR signals that up to the web page and displays it. That would allow the user to either listen to the prompt or read them and then make the selection from that. So just as a last gasp at doing that, I shall see whether Chrome is in a better mood. No, I'm getting nothing out of this network. It's not even loading the page. No. Okay, so that's a futile thing. So come and talk to me afterwards. I shall probably run it on my MiFi there, and anyone who wants to see it there will will be welcome to see it. Thank you.